Hey guys, it's Michael. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome to a new video. Today we want to cover my 3 favorite biceps exercises for weighted calisthenics athletes. Next to growing our biceps to become better at pulling, biceps training for weighted calisthenics has many more advantages, as we can use biceps training in different shoulder positions in order to improve our ability to move in and out of external rotation, which is very important for dips, muscle ups and pull-ups as well. So we can now use those 3 different biceps exercises and its variation that I'm going to show you now to improve our upper body training for our weighted calisthenics lifts. The first variation that I want to show you is behind the back curl with an external rotation bias. The exercise looks like that. We are positioning ourselves next to the cable. Shoulder is in a neutral position. We're standing upright and stacked, so we don't arch, we don't crunch. Upright stacked position, so pelvis and rib cage is parallel. Shoulder is neutral, so we don't shrug it up, don't push it forward, and we don't actively retract it or pull it behind and elevate it. Neutral position. Now what we're going to do is we start on a straight arm that is slightly behind our body. We're giving it a bit of an external rotation and supination, and in that position that elbow stays stationary and we curl. This first biceps curl variation will help us to get the shoulder in a more neutral position and get access to more external rotation in that position. And that is especially valuable for weighted dips. You heard it right. So we can use that biceps curl variation in order to improve our starting position for weighted dips. And let me explain why that is a very nice thing to have. If we take a look at the dip, what we're going to do is we start here, and from that position we bend the arm and we extend the shoulder. Extending the shoulder, so moving the upper arm backwards in the socket of the shoulder, requires internal rotation of the upper arm. So that movement. If we are now not able to access external rotation in the starting position because our shoulder is stuck at the front and we're jammed into that internal rotated position, the arm cannot move further into shoulder extension and we're blocked here, which will create a lot of tension around the shoulder joint and maybe as well through the biceps, which can hurt, which can lead to more overloading injuries more quickly. So we don't want that. So this biceps curl variation can be a very nice primer in order to access this range and then to have a proper starting position for the dip where both elbows point nicely backwards and you can move evenly down into shoulder extension. So if you have the tendency to have an uneven dip and you realize that in your starting position one shoulder is always a bit more forward than the other, or one elbow is more rotated towards the side than the other, then integrating this biceps curl variation can be very helpful in order to rotate the arm back into that neutral position. If you like the new King of Weighted shirts with the print on the sleeve, the front print and the nice logo tag, you can shop them now. You can use my code MICHA5 and get 5% on the new shirts. And of course on all the other equipment like sleeves, belts, wrist wraps and what else we have in the shop. The second exercise on our list are overhead cable curls. And for the overhead cable curl, I want you to position the cable in a way that the elbow is slightly above the shoulder level. Now you want to sit in a stacked position, so again no crunch, no arch, neutral position. The next thing you want to do is rotate that arm into external rotation and make that shoulder pushing out to the side. So you want to have a wide back. You don't want to have the shoulder shrugged or jammed in a deep press position. Just push it wide. What you will realize is that you start to feel your serratus acting up, which is a muscle that sits on the side of your rib cage below your lat. Now, In that position, so we're stacked and we are wide and we're externally rotated, we imagine that we pull that hand behind our head, like that. Also, you want to make sure that during the curls, the elbow is not traveling backwards. It should stay in position and the whole upper arm actually does not move, just the elbow bends and extends. So you rotate that elbow down, you activate that serratus, shoulder is pushed to the side, rib cage is stacked, and then you curl behind that back. And you might have guessed it, this is a very nice exercise to improve that external rotation in a position where the arm is slightly overhead. It helps us to let that shoulder blade rotate upwards in order to access more overhead range of motion. And what is true for the dip is also true for the pull-up. If we can start from a slightly more externally rotated position, which we can practice with that overhead curl variation, then we have more room to pull into an internal rotated position as we extend that shoulder. So if you see in your pull-up that early in the pull, your shoulders are starting to shrug up in order to let your arm move backwards, this can be an exercise that is very helpful for you. So in order to improve your pull-up, this curl variation can be very valuable as it allows you to start from a more externally rotated position, which frees internal rotation. Now we curled with our arm behind the back, with the arm over the shoulder, and what is missing? Exactly the arm in front of the body. And therefore we can use preacher curls and its variations. So with the help of the bank, we can position our arm in front of the body. That will help us to push our rib cage back and keep the shoulder in the front. What the bench also helps us with is that we keep the arm in an external rotated position. So you don't put it on the bench like that, but like this. And this will allow us to curl in that externally rotated and supinated position. A few key points for that exercise. What I want you to do is keep your sternum upright. You don't want to arch the back, you don't want to stay crunched and allow that shoulder to roll forward, because that will probably create a bit of a pinching sensation in your biceps tendon during the curl. So upright, neutral sternum, you place that against the bench, then you position that upper arm in an externally rotated position. With the opposite leg, you make a step forward. That just will prevent you from rotating away from that curling arm and then limiting that external rotation. So get in that position and then from here fully extend that arm. And on the way up, in order to emphasize supination, you can imagine that you want to pull the pinky towards your face, like that. And this is how you perform this preacher curl variation. You probably guessed it again, the ability to properly externally rotate and supinate will help us to get better in position and feel more comfortable during the chin up, as we can start from a more external rotated position. That means we can supinate the hand more. That means we get more contact to the bar and we can pull much more efficient from that position. So if you struggle to get into a nice chin up position and then comfortably pull up, you tend to get a lot of tension around the elbow, then this preacher curl variation can be very helpful for you. As you hopefully learned in this video, properly programmed biceps training can be the solution to many mobility and discomfort problems in your training. If you want to learn more about how you can optimize your training, how you can get rid of your discomforts, then definitely make sure to schedule a free consulting call for our online coaching service, because in our online coaching, we will provide you with all the tools and the exact programming that you need to get on the next level and eventually become pain-free again.